So what we're going to look at in this video is using a frequency table to calculate statistical measures in terms of mean, median, mode, range, draw a histogram from the frequency table. We're going to do two of these. So here's the first frequency table that we have. We have a family reunion, and there are a lot of people at this family reunion, so we broke the family down into different intervals as far as their age goes. 0 to 10 years old, there were 10 people there. 10 to 20-year-olds, there were 20 people. 20 to 30-year-old, there were 33 people, so forth and so on. So the first thing I want to do is I want to draw a quick sketch of a histogram. So my first group from 0 to 10 years old, there were 10 people there. From 10 to 20 years old, there were 20 people. Then there were 33 20 to 33-year-olds. There were 65 30 to 40-year-olds. Then it starts going back down. 33 40 to 50-year-olds, 20 50 to 60-year-olds, and then 10 60 to 70-year-olds. You can see that is symmetric all the way. So there's what you would have for a quick sketch of the histogram. Now, the range of the data. Here's where it gets a little tricky. I want to see who the oldest person at the family reunion is. Technically, I don't know that. I just know that they're somewhere between 60 and 70 years of age. They could be 61, they could be 68, I don't know. So with these frequency tables that I'm going to use for a statistical breakdown, I have to find the midpoint of each interval. So the people that are between 0 and 10 years of age, I'm going to estimate their age at 5 years old. So I'm picking the value that's right in the middle. 10 to 20-year-olds, the teenagers, I'm going to say they're all 15 because I don't know. I don't have the actual data set. The 20 to 30-year-olds, I'm going to call them 30. 25, 45, 55, and 65. So those are the values that are going to be really important to me when I start finding out these statistical measures. Now, I am going to say my oldest person there is an estimate at 65. I'm going to say my youngest person, I don't know for sure, like I said, could have been 2 years old or 8 years old. I'm going to estimate at 5 years of age. My range at this family reunion is about 60 years. Without the data set, that's as good as I can do. Now, the median. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the person that's standing right in the middle of the line. If I lined up everybody from the youngest, I'm going to call that position 1, to the oldest at the end of the line. Now, I know that the youngest person is in position 1. What position is going to be the oldest? I have to add up and see how many people are at this giant family reunion. There are 191 people at the reunion. So the youngest person is position 1, the oldest person is position 191. I am looking for that middle person right there. So I'm going to take 191 positions and divide it by 2. So I am looking for the 95th.5 or 96th person in line, as I have everybody in line from the youngest to the oldest. So I come up here to my frequency table and I look to see where the 96th person is standing. That's the person that's exactly in the middle of the line. Here are people 1 through 10. I haven't gotten to person 96 yet. Here are people 11 through 30. Here are people 31 through 64. I still haven't gotten to 96. So I'm going to keep counting, keep a running tab counting. My 96th person is going to be standing in that interval. That's where I use the midpoint. So my median is going to be 35 old. So that's probably the most difficult thing we're going to do with this is find that median. It's all about the position in Y. Now the mode of my data is where the most people are going to be located in my frequency table. There's 65 people there. That's my most crowded interval. I use my midpoint, so that's 35 years old as well. Now, the last statistical value I want to find is the mean, or my average age. Here's how I'm going to do this. I am going to take the number of people that I have and multiply it by the age, the midpoint. So there were 10 children that I'm going to call 5 years of age. There are 20 teenagers that I'm going to call 15 years of age. There are 33 people between 20 and 30 years old. I'm going to call those people 25, just using that midpoint. 65 people in the next interval, and I'm going to estimate their age at 35, and I'm going to keep going. There were 33 people between 40 and 50 years of age. There were 20 people between 50 and 60 years of age. I'm going to call them 55. There were 10 people between 60 and 70 years of age. I'm going to call them 65. Since I'm finding the average, I'm going to divide by the number of people at this big family reunion. So when I add all of those numbers up and divide by 191, I get 6685 divided by 191. My average is 35 old. So the mean, the mode, the median, all were 35. That's sort of a characteristic of a symmetric histogram. My range was 60 years of age. I always used that midpoint. Now, let's take a look at another example where we're going to do the exact same thing. I want to find the mean, median, and mode and range of this family reunion. That's a lot smaller. I have a lot less data points. So I want to find these statistical measures. The first thing I have to do is find the midpoint. So the people at this family reunion, there were 5 teenagers between 10 and 20 years of age. I don't know exactly how old each was. I don't have the data set. I have to estimate that they're 15 of age. 20 to 30 young adults. I had 6 of them between 20 and 30 years of age. 30 and 40 years of age, midpoint of 35, 45, 55, and 65. So to find the average, I'm going to say there were 5 teenagers there that I'm going to estimate at 15 years of age. I'm going to say there were 6 young adults between 20 and 30 years of age, and I'm going to call them 25. There were 3 older adults that I'm going to call 35. Nobody was between 40 and 50, so 0 times 45, 6 times 55, 4 times 65. Since I'm finding the average, I have to add up how many people were at the family reunion. There were 24 people there. The average age was 920 over 24, or 38.3 years old. So there's how you would find the mean or the average, the very cookbook. The median, the middle person, when you line up everybody in line, from the youngest person in position number 1 to the oldest person in position number 24. The person that's right in the middle of the line would be in position 24 over 2, or the 12th person in line when I line people up from youngest to oldest. So let me find out where person number 12 is standing. Here are people 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've not gotten to the 12th person yet. Here are people 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've still not gotten to the 12th person. Here are people 12, 13, and 14. Nope, I said 12 person. That's in the middle. I'm going to estimate the median to be 35 years old. That's the age of the person. The 12th person in line is in that location and that frequency there. To find my mode, the most, I'm going to find the most crowded interval. I have 6 people and 6 people, so those are my 2 most crowded intervals. I can have 2 modes, 55 and 25. So the most people in that group, in that family reunion, are going to be 25 or 55 using the midpoint. My range, the oldest person there, is going to be somewhere between 60 and 70 years of age. I don't know exactly. Have to use the midpoint and call them 65. The youngest person, the teenager, I have to say is 15. My range in age would be 50 years. So there's how you use a frequency table to calculate and estimate these different statistical measures.